Hey, Andy here from builderhottub.com. In this video, we're going to follow Chris's progress when he's adding an air source heat pump to his hot tub. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so adding an air source heat pump can dramatically reduce the running costs of your hot tub. I added one to my own hot tub nearly 2 years back now, and it saved me a massive 66% in the running costs when compared with running on an electric heater alone. So they're not for everybody, it really depends on the climate that you've got, but for most of us, it can save you a whole bunch of money on running your hot tub. So that's exactly what Chris wanted to do, and he got in touch, and this behind me is the email that he sent me. And anybody that references my videos on YouTube and how they enjoy them straight away gets my attention, as Chris did. And as you can see in that email, he's asking about adding an air source heat pump to his hot tub. And this really is the general process for pretty much all my customers that are doing those conversions to their hot tub. They get in touch and we take it from there. So what's the process look like? Well, Chris, as I said, sent me that email. He also sent me a couple of pictures, and you can see these cycling through behind me. So this is what you need to send. You need to send the internal parts of your tub, not the physical parts, just a photo will do. And from there, I can guide you on what you're going to need for the process. Now, Chris's tub, really standard here. It's got a circulation pump, and it's also got a jet pump. So the jet pump we're not interested with, we're going to leave that as it is. What we're interested in is whatever pump is connected to the existing heater. So if you've only got a single pump in there, that will be connected to the heater. If you have a dedicated circulation pump, that will generally be the smaller one, but it will be the one that's connected to your electric heater or spa pack. And that's the one that we're concerned with, because that's where we're going to add the air source heat pump. Now, before we go any further, it's always a great opportunity for me to say, please do subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon to be notified when my videos go live. I do 2 long form videos just like this every single week, whole bunch of shorts, and everything on my channel focuses on DIY hot tubs, plunge pools, parts, and pretty much everything in between. So with that out the way, let's get back to Chris and his air source heat pump install. So from here, the process is pretty straightforward. What I tend to do is mark up the photograph, and you can see what that looks like behind me. It's pretty crude in nature. It's got 3 colours on. The purple shows where you're going to need to cut into the pipes. The blue shows the cold input to the air source heat pump, and the red shows the hot water return from the air source heat pump. So pretty straightforward. And what I tend to send with this as well, and just as I did with Chris, is I send a diagram that kind of looks like this. It will match the layout that you have, and it shows you clearly how you're going to install that air source heat pump. So Chris was pretty confident with the instructions that I'd given him, the diagrams. He was happy with the product, and he then went ahead and purchased from my online store, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well. He got a air source heat pump, and he got the connection kit as well. So the connection kit, just make sure you've got all of the plumbing parts that you're going to need to actually add that to your existing hot tub. When you're choosing a plumbing kit, in general, the air source heat pump pipework is going to be 1.5 inch. If you've got a single pump, we'll put a 2-inch system on there, just so you've got more flow, and we'll need some kind of flapper valves as well. As always, send me the pictures and I can advise you on what you're going to need. That's all kind of part of the service, if you like. So I delivered the kit to Chris, and Chris got to work. And a couple of days later, I received another email from Chris, and he sent me this. He said, I found this. Is this any use? And I've done hundreds of air source heat pump installs now with customers, and I've never seen a pre-plumbed bypass in a hot tub before. Now, granted, Chris's hot tub is pretty new, and a lot of the new hot tubs from the manufacturers are coming, we'll call it air source ready or air source heat pump compatible. And this is what this means. It has this kind of a setup already in place, which makes adding the air source heat pump so much easier. So Chris didn't need to cut into any pipework. All he needed to do was plumb into this bypass that is already in place. Once you put his pipes in, you close off that bypass in the middle, you open either side and you send the water to the air source heat pump. So it makes life and it makes the installation so much easier when there's an existing bypass in there. If there isn't, it's not a problem. My connection kits come with a bypass anyway, but this was the first time that I'd done a pre-plumbed bypass with a customer. Chris was pretty happy. His life was going to be much, much easier. Okay, so we had a few emails back and forwards, as is normal, questions on lagging and you know, what's the best way of insulating pipes. I like the foil wrap. You can pick that up on Amazon really, really cheaply. And then didn't hear from Chris for a few days, so thought everything was fine and was going to check in with him. And then I got this email. So it started with, I've got a problem. I thought, oh no, what's going on here? So what Chris was seeing was he'd plumbed everything in, didn't have any leaks, which is a great start. Quite often when you add an air source heat pump to your system and you've left the water in place, you end up with an airlock. So you've got to let the water out. The easiest place to do it is at the highest point on the system, which generally is going to be the unions on the air source heat pump. And that's what Chris did. He let out some air, but mostly it was water, so it wasn't an airlock. But he was getting the flow error. Now, the flow error basically means that there's no water going through the air source heat pump. And he said he could press the jets and he could turn them on, but as soon as the jets stopped, it turned off. And this was all a little bit strange. So I've seen this before when you leave the bypass open so that not enough water's going through the air source heat pump, but that wasn't the case. The bypass was shut, the water was going through the air source heat pump, but it just wasn't turning on. And then the penny dropped with Chris. He hadn't actually turned up the temperature on the hot tub itself. He was focusing so much on the air source heat pump that he'd forgotten that we're actually controlling the air source heat pump indirectly by flow. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we need the circulation pump to physically turn on to put the water through the air source heat pump. How does it turn on? Well, the system needs to call for heat. So when it's not at temperature, and on that top side control, we've set the temperature nice and high, the hot tub calls for heat. So it turns the circulation pump on, it turns the relay for the electric heater, which we've disconnected because we're not using the electric heating element anymore inside of that spa pack. Circulation pump is on, it's moving water through the air source heat pump. The air source heat pump senses water's going through it and it kicks in. So what Chris hadn't done was he hadn't turned up the temperature on his hot tub. Very simple mistake to make, but we still control the heat of the hot tub through the spa pack and the topside control. And then in the winter, we match the temperature with the air source and the hot tub. So we lower it on both of them. The reason that we do that is in the winter, it's more expensive and we don't want to be heating the hot tub on a filter cycle, for example. In the summer, certainly on my own, it's so cheap to run that I just leave it at 40 degrees on the air source heat pump and move my temperature up and down on the top side control for the hot tub. End result for Chris, no leaks, beautiful install, and you can see that behind me here. It's super tidy, really, really nice job, Chris. He's got a hot tub that heats up quicker. He's got a hot tub that's now costing him a lot less to run. Another happy customer. If I can help you with your air source heat pump install onto an existing hot tub, then please do get in touch. Always happy to hear from you. As always, I appreciate the view. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.